Hello, my dear students. Welcome back again to English class. Hope you have enjoyed your break. So, as you know, for this week and for the coming week, we are going to revise the syllabus which has been done in previous months so that you can be better prepared for your UTs. So, we are going to revise the first chapter of your book Hornbill. The chapter is The Portrait of a Lady and it's written by Khushwant Singh. If we talk about the title, the portrait, here is not a portrait in painting, it is a pen portrait. Okay, the picture of a person but through words. Of a lady, here this portrait is about a lady, or is of a lady, and the lady is a lady with whom Khushwant Singh had a great relationship, love, affection, and friendship. And this lady is Khushwant Singh's grandmother. So, in the chapter, actually, we are going to know about Khushwant Singh's grandmother and their relationship. Before moving to the story, know something about Khushwant Singh. Khushwant Singh was born on 2nd February 1915 and he was initially named as Khushal Singh and he lived till 20th March 2014. He was an Indian novelist, lawyer, journalist, and politician. So he had done a variety of work in his life. Born and raised in Hadali, Punjab, which is now in Pakistan, he studied law at St. Stephen's College, Delhi, and King's College, London. After working as a lawyer in Lahore court for 8 years, he joined the Indian Foreign Service upon the independence of India from British Empire in 1947. He was appointed journalist in the All India Radio in 1951 and then moved to the Department of Mass Communications of UNESCO at Paris in 1956. Khushwant Singh was decorated with the Padma Bhushan in 1974, but he returned the award in 1984 in protest against Operation Blue Star, in which the Indian Army raided Amritsar. It is a very popular incident. So when the Indian Army did this, protesting this, he returned his Padma Bhushan award. But later on in 2007, he was awarded the Padma Bhushan, the second highest civilian award in India. And here I also want to mention a very popular novel written by Khushwant Singh, that is Train to Pakistan. This novel reveals how pathetic, miserable the conditions were at the time of partition of India. So this is Khushwant Singh, and you can see a sparrow on the right side. The ones who have read the chapter, they better know the connection of the sparrow with Khushwant Singh and his grandmother. And the ones who don't know will be knowing. So let's begin the chapter now. Summary of the chapter. In this story, the author draws a pen portrait of his grandmother. He beautifully opens his relationship with her, with his grandmother, while describing her appearance and daily activities. So, in the chapter, he tells us how his grandmother looked and what did he used to do on the daily basis. So, the first we are going to know about the appearance of the grandmother. The author recalls his grandmother as a very old lady with a wrinkled face. Everybody's grandmother is old because when one becomes grandmother, she gradually becomes old. So, like everybody's else's, Khushwant Singh's grandmother was very old, and with the age, there are wrinkles on the body. So, she had wrinkled face. She appeared so old that it was hard for him to believe that she had once been young and pretty. Since last many years, Khushwant Singh was looking at his grandmother, and she was same. She was not getting changed. So it was very hard for him to believe that this grandmother, who is so old, was young and pretty once. When we are very young, it is very hard for us to believe that our grandparents, who are so old, were children once and they used to play like children once. So similarly, it was hard to believe for Khushwant Singh as well. The author, she was short, fat, and a little stooped, bent in appearance. The author remembers her moving about the house in spotless white. Spotless white means she used to wear white sari, white clothes, and those were spotless. Counting the beads of her rosary. For the whole day, she used to count the beads of her rosary. It's a kind of string of beads used to count when you pray for something, while her lips moved constantly in silent prayers. So her one hand was continuously busy in telling the counting the beads of the rosary, and the lips were always busy in praying. She was not pretty in the traditional sense, yet her serenity, divinity, purity, piousness made her beautiful. So she was not pretty outer appearance wise, but she was very beautiful in her character. The second is initial years of togetherness, life in the village. This togetherness means the togetherness of between Khushwant Singh and the grandmother when they used to live in the village. Here I want to tell you that for some time of Khushwant Singh's life, he lived only with his grandmother because his parents had come to city, and they were trying to settle there, and once when they were completely settled there, then they brought Khushwant Singh and the grandmother back to city. But for that time being, Khushwant Singh and grandmother lived alone in the village. Khushwant Singh was completely dependent on grandmother, and the bonding was quite strong there in the village. So what happened there in those years? In the initial years of his life, the author lived with his grandmother in the village, sharing a good relationship, good friendship. His grandmother used to wake him up in the morning and get him ready for the school. So grandmother used to take care of him completely. She would hand over to him the things he required in the school. After having thick stale chapatis with butter and sugar for breakfast, they used to leave for school. So this was their morning routine. Then the author's grandmother always accompanied him to school as it was attached to the temple. So when author was there in the school, then also grandmother was around him. So you can see the bonding, or you can see how much time they spent together. And why did grandmother go with him to the school? Because the school was attached to the temple. So when Khushwant Singh was there in the temple learning, grandmother could sit in the temple uh, and do her praying. So he could be there in school and grandmother could be there in the temple. It was her habit to carry several steel chapatis for the village dogs, which they used to feed while returning from the school. It was a daily routine that she used to carry some stale chapatis for the dogs. So you can say that she was a generous or kind hearted lady who just cared for animals. The grandmother used to sit inside the temple reading holy books while the narrator learned alphabets and prayers in the school. And then comes turning point of their friendship, and it is life in the city. When Khushwant Singh's parents got completely settled there in the city, and Khushwant Singh and grandmother were brought up there in the city, so it was like a turning point of their friendship. The turning point of their friendship came when they moved to the city to stay with the author's parents. It was a turning point which changed their relationship, their friendship. Though they shared the same room, his grandmother no longer accompanied him to the school since the author started going in a bus. So, although they lived in the same room, there was a kind of attachment or bonding or that common link between them. But still, grandmother was no longer able to go with him to the school because it was a city, so the author used to go in school bus. As years rolled by, they saw less of each other. Means the years passed by, they did not see much of each other. Meanwhile, as there were no dogs in the streets, she took to feeding the sparrows. Now she came to city, there were no dogs, but her kind-heartedness was there, and now she took to feeding sparrows. So she started feeding the sparrows. Unlike the village school, the author was not taught about God and the scriptures which troubled his grandmother. So in the village school, he used to know about prayers and God and everything. But here in the city school, no scriptures reading was there, nothing about God was taught there. And this troubled the grandmother. She was a lady who was very religious. So it was very hard for her to believe that what kind of a school it was, where nothing was taught about God. She did not believe in what was being taught at his school and was unhappy as she could not help him with his lessons. Earlier, she could help him in his lessons because it was about God and she knew everything. But here now in the city school, Khushwant Singh started learning about science and maths, and grandmother could not help him in these subjects, so she was upset. Moreover, she was disturbed at the idea of music lessons being given at school, as she considered music to be unsuitable for gentlefolk. When she came to know that in the school Khushwant Singh was given music lessons, she was very disturbed because she did not like music learning by the commoner, uh, good people, you can say. She just felt that music is meant for beggars only. Her disapproval was conspicuous in her silence, and it was clear in her silence. She did not say anything, so Khushwant Singh came to know that his grandmother was disturbed. Next is the grandmother's combat, fight, struggle with her loneliness by feeding the sparrows. So something happened and grandmother became lonely. Let's see how. When the author started going to the university, he was given a room of his own. It resulted in a further gap between them. So now the common link, that was the common room of both of them, was now separated. So grandmother became more lonely. She accepted her loneliness and rarely spoke to anyone. She just became silent. All day long she sat spinning the wheel and reciting her prayers. She relaxed for a short time only in the afternoon to feed the sparrows who came in fact who came in large numbers. So she only relaxed, she left her spinning wheel only when in the afternoon she fed sparrows. And the sparrows came in thousands of number. The bond and level of comfort they shared with her is evident in the fact that they perched even on her legs and head. So the sparrows were so comfortable with grandmother, with her love and affection, that they could perch on her legs and shoulders and head. And grandmother did not say anything. She just light-heartedly scolded the sparrows, but they were having a special bonding. She used to be at her happiest self while feeding the sparrows. So this was her happiest time in the day. At that time only she used to smile and respond and leave her all the work and speak something. So it was her happiest time. Next is author leaves for higher studies. The author decided to go abroad for further studies. He was sure that his grandmother would be upset at his departure. Grandmother loved him very much. So Khushwant Singh was sure that when grandmother would come to know about this, that he was going for 5 years, she was going to be very upset. But it did not happen actually. On the contrary, she came to the railway station to see him off, but did not show any emotion. She was not upset. On the contrary, she was so strong that she came to the railway station to see him off, and she did not say a single word. She did not show any emotions. She was absorbed, busy in her prayers, telling the beads of her rosary. She silently kissed the author's forehead, which the author considered to be, he supposed it to be, the last sign of their physical contact. So when grandmother went there at railway station to see off Khushwant Singh, then she kissed him on the forehead. And Khushwant Singh thought that it can be the last physical contact between both of them, because grandmother was very old and he was going for 5 years. So maybe when he would return, it was possible that grandmother could die. So he took it as the last physical contact. Then there is author's homecoming after 5 years. On his return after 5 years, the author did not find any change in his grandmother. She was there, she was like before, she was as old as ever and remained absorbed in her prayers. When he went, then she was praying, and when he returned, then also she was praying. Even that day, the happiest moment for her was feeding the sparrows. She did not talk much with Khushwant Singh, and her happiest time was with the sparrows. But in the evening, for the first time ever, since when Khushwant Singh was born, for the first time, he saw she did not pray. Grandmother did not pray. She collected several ladies of the neighborhood and sang songs related to the homecoming of the warriors. So in the evening, some change came over her. She collected all the ladies and started singing the songs of home warrior. So she was thinking that her grandson was also like a warrior who returned from abroad, and she was singing the to be persuaded, convinced to stop singing in order to avoid overstraining. So she was very old. If she would have sung for a longer time, she could have got overstrained. So everybody was persuading her to stop singing. However, the next day she was taken ill. Maybe she was overstrained. She was ill, and then the next is grandmother's death. Though diagnosed with a mild fever by the doctor, grandmother knew that her end was near. Doctor said it is just a mild fever and it will go in a day or two. But grandmother thought differently. She thought her end was near. She decided to spend the last few hours of her life reciting prayers and telling her beads. So she told all the family members to leave her alone because she wanted to pray in the last few hours. And soon her lips stopped moving and she died. So she was praying in her last time. Next is very important para, a silent tribute by the sparrows. The sparrows which were her true friends. How did the sparrows react on grandmother's death? The family went to make arrangements for the grandmother's funeral. As they came with a stretcher, they stopped midway to find thousands of sparrows scattered around her dead body. So a stretcher was brought to take the dead body of the grandmother because, but the dead body was, you can say, covered from all the sides by the sparrows. The sparrows mourned to feel upset, cry actually, the death of the grandmother in utter silence. The sparrows were showing their grief, their sorrow, with, uh, with their complete silence. There was no note at all chirping. They ignored the breadcrumbs thrown at them by the author's mother. So the author's mother took pity on the sparrows because it was the time for them to be fed by the grandmother. So author's mother, like the grandmother, threw breadcrumbs to give breadcrumbs to the sparrows, but they did not notice it even. They ignored the breadcrumbs. That day they were not there for breadcrumbs. That day they were there for grandmother. They wanted to see the grandmother for the last time too. And then they flew away silently after the body was carried away for cremation. The sparrows flew away without any sound. The breadcrumbs were swept away by the sweeper next morning. So this was the summary of the chapter. Few character sketches are very important, like of Khushwant Singh and of grandmother. And these two are important. The third is very important, is the relationship in the city and relationship in the village of Khushwant Singh and the grandmother. I would suggest you to see the video again and again. If you have any doubt, you are most welcome. Have a good day.